YouTube, my name is Mesa Sean, and we are back here on Destiny 2. Alright folks, I want to go over a couple of things in this video. Tomorrow, we have update 2.1.4 that we'll be deploying. With that update at reset, we are getting the Last Word quest. Now they put out a quick teaser trailer, and at the end of it, you see some thorns. So that means, more than likely, the thorn will be returning in the Season of the Drifter. But also, Dylan from Bungie posted over on Reddit some specific percentages on the buffs to scout rifles. Now, if you're like me, I've been wanting to use scout rifles for a long time in Destiny 2, but they got nerfed pretty hard back during the summer. First, they got nerfed by about 30%, I believe by accident, when they fixed the explosive payload perk. Then they got buffed up by 15%, and they're just not viable. Well, we have some numbers, so I want to go through all the scout rifles that I have, and I want to hear from you guys in the comment section what scout rifles and what scout rifle roles you're looking forward to using with this update. I will be recording before footage tonight, so I could do a kind of comparison as to how these scout rifles will perform, or at least the ones that I will show you. But before we get into the scout rifles, let me go over the Last Word stats. Here are the perks and stats for the Last Word within Destiny 2. It's a little bit different, and I wanted to touch on this because of the fact that in the teaser, we see some 3 taps, we see 4 tap body shots, and so forth. First off, the main perk Fanfire is a little different than Destiny 1. This weapon can be fired quickly and continuously, faster reload, and increased accuracy on successive hipfire damage. So they really want you to hipfire this weapon. That second part of the main perk was not in the Destiny 1 Last Word, I believe. We have corkscrew rifling, accurized rounds, then it looks like you can switch between hipfire grip or textured grip. Now when we look at the base stats, we have an impact of 78, range of 28. This weapon in Destiny 1 had very low range, but it did not feel like it in the Crucible. Stability is 46, handling's 28, reload speed is 82, that's not bad. Zoom in is 11, inventory size is 40, aim assistance will be 40, we've got recoil direction 100, and it does fire 180 rounds per minute with 8 in the magazine. Now more than likely they will sell this ornament you're seeing on the bottom screen called Laconic through Eververse, more than likely. But we'll have to see what that looks like when she actually shows up tomorrow, and I'll cover that in my weekly reset video. Dylan from Bungie posted over on Twitter the actual percentages of the scout rifle buffs. So lightweight scout rifles, a buff of 5%. Rapid fire scout rifles by 6%. But all scout rifles are getting a PvE buff of 10%. Now my question is this. My beloved MANANNAN, all I used in year 1 for PvE and PvP, love this thing. Is that going to get a 15% buff? Now I say that because if all scout rifles are getting 10%, and then it says lightweights are getting 5%, does that mean, is that going to stack? So all scout rifles get 10%, and then lightweights get another 5%? I don't know. They're not clear. Well, Dylan is not clear in this post, and hopefully the patch notes will clarify that for us. Because if it buffs it up to 15%, let's say for lightweight scout rifles, well, that makes sense. Because scout rifles got nerfed by 30%, then they got brought up by 15%, still not up there, so it's still down 15% right now. Then if you get a stack of all scout rifles by 10%, that's a buff. Then another 5% for lightweights. Then it brings it right back in line where it was in year 1. We'll have to find out tomorrow. So let me go through all the scout rifles that I'm really looking forward to testing out tonight, but then also giving you the before and after footage tomorrow. So first off, for Nameless Midnight, I've got a couple of decent rolls. Of course, I'm going to try the original one from year 1 with explosive payload. But I've got one here with triple tap and rampage. Now granted, this is not a lightweight or rapid fire frame, but I really want to see what that 10% is going to do because I love triple tap on scout rifles and I love rampage. I could see this being very, very useful in strikes. This one here has triple tap and rangefinder. Now obviously I like rampage a little better, but I'm thinking rangefinder because scout rifles, they said in their notes in, let's see, 2 weeks ago on the This Week at Bungie, that scout rifles they felt are not really meant to be super long range, kind of medium range, slightly long range. I don't know. I don't have the quote right in front of me here. But I think this one might come in handy if I'm not looking for something like Rampage where I'm taking out ads. See, this I see as being great for taking out ads, but also laying into yellow bars or even bosses. This thing strictly for bosses or just sitting back and trying to pick off yellow bars. Another weapon I'm really looking forward to trying out after this buff is going to be the Scout Rifle, the Purpose. So this one's a lightweight frame, so it's getting that 5% buff, hopefully another 10% overall buff. But this is a kinetic version of the MANANNAN. You've got your explosive rounds. It, in a nutshell, has the same impact. I've got a masterwork of range on this thing. And remember, kinetic weapons, let's say you have two weapons that have the same base damage. The kinetic version will always do a little bit more damage. However, it's not going to take enemy shields down so quickly. Next up would be the MIDA Multi-Fool. And yes, I'm a scrub and loved it in Destiny 1 because I loved the aim assistance. I loved how fast it fired. I loved how you run around really quickly because it will boost your movement speed. But this thing was awesome. And you have Third Eye. It will be interesting to see. I could never get along with this thing in Destiny 2 because it took more shots to take someone down. So it will be interesting to see how this thing plays out in PvP, and will this be the next go-to scout rifle in PvP. Here's another scout rifle I'm looking forward to testing out. This is the Transfiguration from the raid. Now, normally I'm not a big fan of high impact frames. I like the fast firing ones. I like the precision frames. I like the lightweight frames. But this one has Rampage on it, and I don't know why. Do I have minor spec? Yeah, I need to put major spec on it. This thing already just wastes red bars like it's nothing. I think I'm going to put I'll put a major spec on it so it does more damage to yellow bars, but this thing's got Rampage on it, so of course I'm going to like it. Anything with Rampage, I like on it. It's got steady rounds, it has accurized rounds, and it has moving target. I would like another perk here instead of moving target, like perhaps Outlaw or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure if this thing could roll with both Rampage and Outlaw. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to trying this weapon out. Next up is going to be the Vouchsafe. And this comes from the Dreaming City. And I have the curated version, so it's masterworked, which gives you more stability because this thing is not so great in the stability department. But it does have Zen Moment, and that does help with the stability. Now, it does have Dragonfly on it, and I actually like Dragonfly spec, and I need to try to see if Ada1 will give me another Dragonfly spec mod. Dragonfly spec, don't sleep on it, folks. It increases the blast radius, and it also will increase the damage from that blast radius. On my Ringing Nail, I have both Rampage and Dragonfly, so I put Dragonfly spec on it, and when low-level ads die from the explosion from Dragonfly, it will proc Rampage. So I'll kill one ad, Dragonfly will proc, the two other ads will die from the explosion, boom, I've got Rampage times 3. So this one is a lightweight frame, we've got Fluted Barrel, Flared Magwell, Dragonfly, and Zen Moment. Next up we have the Tango 45 XK5094. This is a forge weapon. Now, this is not a lightweight frame or a rapid fire frame. And actually, guys, I'm not covering any of the rapid fire scout rifles because I am terrible with them. I never get along with them, or I've never gotten along with them. You guys let me know in the comment section what your favorite rapid fire scout rifles are. This one's a precision frame, so it'll get a 10% buff overall. But two great perks I like, Triple Tap and Rampage. Fires 180 rounds per minute. I have a major spec on there because this thing already does decent damage to red bars. So I can kill a red bar, get Rampage to proc, and start laying into yellow bars, or maybe kill some more red bars, then start laying into yellow bars. Triple Tap for bosses. Triple Tap always really handy on scout rifles, I feel. We have Alloy Magazine, Flared Magwell for that kind of quicker reload. It's got decent sights. I use the SLO 12 post. And yeah, we'll see how this thing performs. I'm going to be testing all of them out tonight. Next up is going to be the Distant Relation. Now, I've got 3 of them, and they're not bad, but they're not that great. So this one, it's a precision frame, so it'll get a 10% buff. Now, the first one I have, it's a full auto trigger system, which I like, and it's got opening shot. I would like something else instead of opening shot. This one here has Outlaw and Explosive Payload, which kind of defeats the purpose. It is sometimes hard to get Outlaw to proc when you have Explosive Payload because it is splitting up those two different shots when you lay into ads or enemies. But it does have steady rounds, it's got drop mag, which really increases the reload, except for the fact that you will lose a lot of ammunition, and I find with scout rifles, or at least this scout rifle, I would run out of ammo rather quickly. And then lastly, I've got another full auto one here. This one has Ambitious Assassin. Ambitious Assassin, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm not anti it. What I like about it is, well, it overflows the magazine based on the number of rapid kills before loading. So if you're laying into a whole bunch of red bars and you're getting those kills, that next reload, you're going to bump up that magazine. And I think this thing could go up as high as 20 rounds. You know what? It's been such a long time since I actually used this thing out. But really looking forward to trying these three different distant relations out. But more importantly, playing some more Gambit to trying to get a better roll or the curated version. Polaris Lance. I definitely cannot wait to see the 10% buff. I was using this last night running some Nightfalls using the companion app, and I set it to Savathun's Song and set it to Solar Burn. The only thing that stinks on this thing is the handling is terrible. The handling makes it feel really clunky, so if you can have any type of armor that will help with handling, it will help immensely. Before the overhaul and the whole perk system and mod system, I was always using mods that would help with handling. I think my Titan, yeah, it was my Titan that had I think 2 to 3 mods that added bonus handling, and it would make it snap, like it was really snappy on getting on targets. But it's got Zen Moment, Solar. When you landing 4 precision hits, loads a delayed solar explosive round for your next shot. Yeah, this thing is awesome. So a 10% buff to Polaris Lance, that's going to be a lot of fun in PvE activities. And then lastly, of course, my MANANNAN. Can't wait to test that thing out in both PvE and PvP. Because remember, the Scout Rifle, the 10% buff for Scout Rifles is all going to be for PvE. But that 5% for lightweight Scout Rifles, it doesn't say PvE, it says 5%, and I'm assuming that's PvE and PvP. We'll have to see. I'll make a full video tomorrow comparing the before and after. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Leave me a good old hashtag made it to the end if you did make it to the end. And do me a favor, drop a like in this video only if you see fit. Follow me on the Twitter at Mesa. Check out my stream, usually and always on YouTube. And that's it. I am out of here like Vladimir.